Bezrat Hashem, just to levarech b'shem v'malchut, to realize that being here itself is the goal. To understand that Am Yisrael have been around for many, many years, and to know that the nature of the nature on the bottom. The nature sometimes of yeshiva is that we get very, very into our circle and we don't see the full circle. So just sitting next to people that you don't know, being in a room with people that you've never met, but understanding that there's something that's uniting us, that's unifying us, that itself is already enough for us to stay here for at least a week or two, to levarech b'shem v'malchut, that these are the signs of Geula Be'ezrat Hashem. We're going to go on a journey together. You use the tape or? Yeah. Okay, so we don't have source sheets, but this is the entire shiur. For anyone who's struggling to follow, there might be sometimes side notes, but this is the main thing to remember. We'll begin from the title, Kennes Asufot. Anyone who came to this day, Kennes Asufot, is translated into English to collect, to connect. Okay, we're collecting all of us together, and that itself is connection. That's Kennes Asufot. So that's the title, but the title of our shiur is the journey from Adhat to Achim. So that's our journey. We know on a very, very simple level that there's something called Gan Eden, which is translated in Keren Biybna, where we are today, Eretz Yisrael. There in Gan Eden, there are two trees. One tree named Adhat and Achim. Anyone disagree so far? Anyone? No one disagrees. People want to disagree about Gan Eden being Eretz Yisrael. We're all on the same page, okay? Am Yisrael Chai. And no one wants to disagree. Okay.
Disagree.
We're not. Okay, so come in. If you want, there's room on the floor.
Yeah, we disagree.
Yes, yesh makom al haritzpah. Bo. Yesh makom. Oh, yesh makom, Rami. Yesh makom. Tata se Seder. Okay. So we'll open up. Just very, very simple. If Hashem makes a decision when He opens up the story of Gan Eden to give us two trees, the tree of knowledge, Adhat, and the tree of life, Achim. Can anyone translate what's Hashem's number one message? Anyone want to try? Mashem? What's your name? Yehuda.
There is two sources to life.
Yefeh. Says Yehuda, there are two things that we need. One is to know, and one is to live. But I want to take Yehuda one step forward. It's a little bit scary if you fall out of your seats. It's okay. We have a chovesh. Everything's going to be okay. If Hashem made two trees, two sources, He's saying something to all of us in this room that's very scary, that the da'at is not chayim. If these two trees are the first presentations, Hashem is saying, you might know so much. You might be zocher to finish Shas like Saba David. Saba David could stand up. He's already Shiur Tetzayin in Keren Biybna. Saba David will tell you that he's finished Shas 7 times. But Hashem came to him in the dream and said, Just because you know, it doesn't mean you live. We'll give a simple example. If any of us walk out into the streets and we yell out, who here wants to be happy? Everyone will say, we want to be happy. We'll tell you b'simcha. Adam sameach tamid. How many people are mamash happy? Saba David v'zeu. All the time. So just because we know we want to be happy, does not equal that that's the way we live. And what we want to go on the journey in this shiur is to ask ourselves, all of us are immersed in da'at. We're immersed in Ma'amad Har Sinai. Can we get to Har HaMoriah? That's the title of the shiur. Kol beseder Rabbeinu, beseder. As natchil me introduction, the introduction that we want to start with is an introduction that begins with the idea of something called an appearance. Let's recognize an appearance. Don't get nervous. You can all, raise your hands. If anyone in this room is a bechor, raise your hands. Yeah, a little bit higher. Be confident that you guys get 2 times more than your siblings. Yafeh, it's all smiles. Mapito. I don't understand. So you were born first. Lo asita klum. You didn't do a thing. So you were born first. Now you get 2 times more in the inheritance and the nachala. Does anyone know the first day of the week? Rabbeinu, you're Karen B'Yavne, where are you from? Achito Ba'olam. So what's the first day of the week? Lo nachon. Lo nachon. Because Adam is created at the end of the 6th day. So his first day is Shabbat. So the first day we celebrate, the first day is Shabbat. And we celebrate that. Does anyone know what's coming on Sunday morning? We don't want to say it out loud. People call it Ben Azmanim. Okay? Ben Azmanim. Lo nachon. When Rabbeinu Reb Eli Weinstein, who also goes by Eliezer, Reb Eliezer, he says, "What's Ben Azmanim?" So much as Zman v'chol. Right? There's a Zman in a ditch. It's Zman Olam. It's an opportunity. We're going to the world. So we realize, Reb Eliezer, where were you a second ago? I lost my train of thought. What? So, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Sunday. First day of the month, 24 hours, night and day. But we celebrate it. Some of us might not, but we should. We should all go to the Kotel and everyone's invited. The minyan called Minyan Yisraeli. Kacha ze nikra. Anyone wants to come, 6:10 at the Kotel. What's so special about Rosh Chodesh that we have to celebrate? First day of the year, anyone want to guess? Mishu po chacham, mish po chachamim or chacham? Yom HaRishon shel HaShana, איך לקורא לו? Rosh Hashanah. So we have the first day of the year, first day of the month, Bechor, Bikurim, first word of the Torah, entrance code into the Torah, Breshit, beginnings. So all of us are going to say, I don't understand. Why are we celebrating the Bechorot, the Bikurim? Can anyone give an answer? Mishu רוצה לנסות? Someone want to be a source? No one wants to try? זה יפה. מאיפה אתה? מעתניאל? זה חזק מאוד. מתחילים משהו חדש, מה אכפת לי? מה זה מעניין אותי? אז התחלת משהו חדש. אין לנו, מה זה? Pure. All the answers are true, but it's not good for the shear. It's not good for the shear. מאיפה אתה? בשדרות, יבנה, מאיפה? מצוין? מה אתה אומר? הכרת תודה, יפה, לא טוב לשיעור, לא קיבלנו. בסדר? הכרת תודה, טהרה, all cute, not good for the shear. There's something that's very different about the beginning and the continuation. Because there are two words that we're always dealing with in our entire lives. The word of why and the word of what. Those are the two words. בעברית, למה ולמה. בסדר, שתי מילים, כן? When you start something, what is stronger? The why or the what? What's stronger when you start? לא עשית כלום! אז נולדת בכור, למי זה מעניין? You didn't do a thing. There's no what. There's only why. Says Hashem on a very, very simple level. We celebrate beginnings because we need to ask ourselves a question called why. And if we start from why, then what we do will always be passionate. So when we look here, the root of the fruit is Rabbi Tzadok in Piska Beg Tzikat Tzadik. Rabbi Tzadok Akon Melublin. I was at his kever mamish 3 days ago. We sat at the kever in Piska and Tzikat Tzadik Bet. He says there's something called Shas. Whoever agrees that there's Shas, raise your hands. Says Rabbi Tzadok, you're all liars. And the Valkas at Bayadut 6. There's no such thing. Everything in Judaism is 7. We agree or disagree. The week is 7. Shemitah is 7. Sfirat HaOmer is 7. We all agree in 7s. Yes, Ami, you're not following? You're following. Mike, you're following or Loch Patcha? Said it. Says Rabbi Tzadok HaKol Melublin, the scariest thing you guys might ever hear in your entire lives. There's no Shas Mishnah. There's Shiv'a Sidrei Mishnah. Ba'atam Balbel. Ma, because you're Chassid, you can just make up things. Ma, what is it? מצוין. Rabbeinu Yehuda Omer זה כן Shas. But the shin is for Shiv'at and not Sheshet. So Jerry's sitting there in the back saying to himself, when is the shir over? And how can you say such audacity? Such audacity that there's 7 Sdarim? So says Rabbi Tzadok something so simple. What's the first Masachet? Everyone knows. Geniuses. Ya brachot. We're going to Lech Lechaz later. We're going the sources. And you might have many shirim that will explain why Masachet Brachot is in Zra'im. Seder will give you many shirim. Says Rabbi Tzadok HaKol Melublin, Brachot is its own seder. Its own seder. Because we have something called Bracha Lifnei Maseh. We make a bracha before the action. And therefore, Masechet Brachot is its own seder, says Rabbi Tzadok, because the idea is that we make a bracha before Shas. And we're... יש חיוך שמה, ראיתי את החיוך. ראיתי שמה, קיבלנו. Says Rabbi Tzadok, the whole experience of Judaism is that if we don't know why, the what will never last. And therefore, Masechet Brachot is saying, make a bracha before the 6, just like everything else. And that is exactly where we're going to go now from this reality to realize 2 facts. Oh, שאלה.
There's a lot of stuff.
תעמוד. מעלה אדומים זה גאווה.
A lot of stuff in Judaism don't have 7 parts.
זה מה שנקרא באנגלית debatable.
4 טורים, 5
נו, בקסוטו אתה מכיר? מילה מנחה. בסדר, לא.
10 הדיברות.
לא, צודק. There is other things that are in 7, there are things that are in 10s, there are things that are in 1s, Hashem. There is, we're getting except for חגדיה, 1, 2, 3. אחד מיודע, מצוין, אבל רבי צדוק אומר that there is an idea that we have to realize שישה סדרי משנה, there is something we have to ask ourselves, why is brachot the beginning? So he understands that brachot is its own seder, it's making the bracha before the מעשה, אבל צודק שיש גם השם אחד ושמו אחד. יש עוד אמירות, רבנו, מאיזה ישיבה?
לפחות.
גם בנק וגם ישיבה.
למה? אז שיעשה במובן טכני, שיעשה ברכות, סדר משלו, ואז יעשה...
זה מה שהוא אומר.
לא, שיעשה טכני, שלו, סדר ברכות וסדר זרעים וכו'. למה צריך לעשות את זה בדרך אגב? שיעשה טכני, שיש 7 סדרים ממש, ברכות דור ראשון...
העולם לא היה מוכן לשמוע את החידוש של הרבי צדוק, לקח 1800 שנה. אבל אנחנו עוד נתפלל על זה. בסדר. אני אגיע לטפחות, נעשה עניינים. בסדר? Okay, so there's 2 facts that I want to identify that's uniting all of us. Some of us are Saba David, we're about 42. The rest of us, let's say, are 19 years old, 19, 20. So fact number 1, we've been learning for 15, 16 years. Why am I saying that? Because until the age of 3, you're still a part of Gan Eden. You celebrate life itself, it's a Chaim. Then you get a mind and you start going into learning. So that journey, no one understood it. You start from Etz HaChaim, yeah. You run around, you play with Lego. And then you start learning, so we've been learning for 16 years. And we've been in yeshiva for a long time. So that everyone agrees on this? From this, I want to go to what's called the main issue. Why learn Torah in the Eretz? So I know it might sound like a simple question. Simple. Who asked this question first? Who's the first person to ask, why learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael? Who's the first person to ask that question? Herzl. See? This is what happens when people sit in the window. לא יודעים שום היסטוריה, לא מבינים בכלל את הסיפור של עם ישראל. There are people that started this question of Torah in Eretz Yisrael way before מורנו ורבנו משיח בן יוסף לפי הרב קוק, הרב הרצל, כל מה שאתם רוצים להגיד. Someone before, anyone want to try one more option? אברהם אבינו, בסדר, זה לא... מרגלים. The מרגלים, they said a very simple question. We want quantity. You have to listen to that, it's a very scary sentence. We want quantity. What is going on 24 hours a day in the Midbar? 24 hours a day. Nathan, say something! I'm giving up on you, mamash! They're learning quantity. They have הדעת all day. There are no distractions. There's no, I know you guys came to בכנס אסופות. נגיד את זה בקול. Because the rugelach, the coffee. But it's a distraction. I want to say something scary, but we're not going to say it out loud. We're just going to say it out loud anyway. There's something called yeshivot הסדר ישראליות. מכירים? Hazar yeshivas that are Israeli. Does anyone know where they are? קריית שמונה ואילת. תתרגם את זה לאנגלית. Far, far, far away from Yerushalayim. Far away from Yerushalayim. Then there's something called ישיבות הסדר אמריקאיות. כן? שנתנו להם להיכנס מהדלת הצדדית, לב התורה, בית שמש, תורה ועבודה, חובת התלמידים ירושלים. נרחיב את הפתח לכל ישיבות האמריקאיות, איפה הם נמצאים? ירושלים. אז תגידו בית שמש. אבל בית שמש is a suburb of ירושלים. There's buses every 6 minutes. So the question you have to think about, it's a huge anomaly. Anomaly. לא יודע what that word means. אני ישראלי. אבל תקראו, anomaly. All Israeli yeshivot are far away from Yerushalayim. And all American yeshivot are immersed in Yerushalayim. Can anyone identify why? Anyone want to guess? No, מאיזה ישיבה? מצוין, מה אתה אומר?
There's a lot of what in Yerushalayim?
מצוין. They don't really want to let's distract ourselves. Don't say it out loud that we're going to experience. We don't want to actually live. I went to Yeshivat Otniel, Baruch Hashem. We had a makolet. It was open 1 hour a month. There were no midrashot. There's nothing. You walk around, the only thing you could see, everyone got excited from sunset. Because there was nothing else to look at. There was nothing else to do. You were mamish living immersed in Torah. But you say to yourself, what are we thinking when the Miraglim say, if you want quantity, stay away from Eretz Yisrael. Don't come here. מי שבו הולך להתגייס, כולנו. ציוות השם, צבא, לא משנה, הכל יהיה בסדר. בסדר, ציוות השם, you got it there. But going to the army is a distraction on quantity. It's distracting quantity. You will learn less. So Mori Rabbi Rav Ram is walking around the streets here, and everyone has like these big stories about Rav Ram in the army. He learned Masechet Eruvin Be'iyun. But when he wasn't in the army, he learned the whole Zohar in one day. So it's a lot more quantity. A lot more quantity. So the question is, why lessen the quantity? When you come into Eretz Yisrael, when you see trees, it means there's less amount. And if the goal is Torah, if the goal is Eitzadat, say the Miraglim, if that's my goal, then don't lessen the quantity. Don't come here. You guys want another quiz or must speak? If you want another quiz, raise your hands. Okay, we'll do it anyway. We're going 3 people. What's the first thing Hashem says to man? Stop learning. Yאיר, מה אתה מבלבל בשכל? It's not the first thing Hashem says, stop learning. He says, חבר'ה, get married and have children. Does anyone know Masechet Kiddushin Daf Kaftet Amud Bet by heart? We all do. Getting married means less learning. And that's the first thing Hashem says to man. דבר ראשון, תנקה כלים. אין פה מעלה אפרים, כי הם לא בישיבות איזה. מעלה אפרים, does anyone know what happens in מעלה אפרים? מעלה אפרים, עוד שנייה, לפחות אנחנו נגיע. מעלה אפרים, 80% of the time they're cleaning dishes. So all of you guys are going to say, מה זה הדבר הזה? I came to yeshiva for quantity. Comes Rosh Yeshivat. מעלה אפרים, Rav Eliezer, went to Ser Matkal. Says if we came back to Eretz Yisrael, and if we listened to Hashem saying get married, he's saying to you a simple sentence. לא מעניין אותי הכמות. לא מעניין אותי. If you have the audacity, מילה גדולה, לא מבין אותה. You have the audacity to look at Hashem in the eye and say, Hashem, listen. No באמת. You want me to get married to a girl? Does anyone know what it means to marry a girl? She's not you. So I was a genius. I came to my wife. It's our anniversary yesterday. I said to her, let's do a chavruta. So she waited until we got married because we were showing again. She slapped me in the face. Yeah. She said, Ma, we're living. What's this garbage? Right? Let's have a chavruta. Let's clean the dishes. Let's make a dinner. So I was like, let's invite the whole Yeshivat Otniel for Sudash Lishit. She said, Mitzuyan, what are you bringing? Chumus velechem. Ma tzarich. She said, you have to make something. You have to make a chavita, make a lachmaniyad. You're already bored? You look at Hashem and you say, the first thing Hashem said is not go to yeshiva. He said go to yeshiva if. It's a very scary word to add. If you realize that the why for yeshiva is not quantity. If you realize that the why for yeshiva is not Eitzadat. And so when we look at this question, why learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael, we're really saying, why waste our time? Why go to the army? Why get married? Why deal with laundry? Why clean dishes? If I could learn another daf. It's a big question. רבנו טפחות, רצית להגיד.
רציתי להוסיף שעוד יותר, הוא אסר עליו...
לא להגיד ככה. עוד יותר טוב ועוד יותר. עוד יותר.
אמר לו, הוא אסר עליו לאכול מעץ הדעת. הוא חייב אותו תאכל מעץ החיים, אבל לא אוכל מעץ הדעת. יפה. לא יודע מה השם, רבנו טפחות, ככה נשאיר.
So that's question number 1. The question number 2. Is Eretz Yisrael an addition or a definition? Is it another mitzvah or is it a definitive mitzvah? And we're going to speak about Kool-Aid. I don't know if anyone here sees this beautiful water. We're going to pour it all over you guys. Lo bemet. Said lo l'fached. If I take a little bit of Kool-Aid, 3 sprinkles, sprinkle inside, what's this called? Peta. Israeli. Okay? Peta. But it's 3 drops. There are certain things that it's not about the amount, it's about what it does to the water. Eretz Yisrael redefines the whole mindset on why I'm learning. We said according to Rabbi Tzadok, we need to start with why. And we're realizing right now that the question is, what did Eretz Yisrael do to Torah learning? We're all on the same page, everyone's happy. Namshich ha'aleh. Okay. So we're going to go on the journey source number 1. You want to go on the journey or must speak?
Journey.
Okay. Lach lecha b'derech. Seder. So we're going to start with source number 1. Source number 1, Masechet Shabbat Daf Kuf Hei Amud Bet, says a very simple thing. If you are present in the moment of Yetziat Neshama, someone's alive, their Neshama leaves the body, what's the first thing you need to do? Rabbeinu, אתה נראה רציני. Yafeh. Okay? Says Masechet Shabbat, you have to tear Kriya. Says Rashi, why? Why do you have to tear Kriya when the Neshama evaporates from the body? So says Rashi, everyone likes Reb Shlomo, Yitzchaki, Kol Beseder. Loiv? You don't like it? So Rashi says, why? Because a met is like Sefer Torah Shenisraf. Okay, very simple Rashi. Why is the first thing I do when I see a neshama leave Ter Kriya? Because it's like a burning Sefer Torah. Ad kan mitzvah. That's source number 1. You got source number 1?
Got it.
Yefeh. Source number 2. Source number 2, Yoredea Siman Shin Samech Taz Bet, elaborates on this and says, how many people need to be at a funeral? Anyone want to guess how many people need to be at a funeral? Bivan, you yawned in the middle of a shir. What do you think that makes me feel when I go home? Matose. What? No, לא עכשיו. אנחנו רציניים פה. בסדר? So he says, how many people do you need to have at a funeral? Anyone want to guess? 600,000. 600,000. To the level that if there isn't 600,000, you have to be mevatel Torah. Let's understand that. In Eretz Yisrael, I want to say a joke. Don't listen to it out loud. In Eretz Yisrael, אין ביטול תורה. אין ביטול תורה בארץ ישראל. אבל בסדר, בדיחה, לא להילחץ. בסדר, רבנו. Why? Because he says 3 words. כי נתינתה, כך נטילתה. The Torah was given with how many people? 600,000. Every Jew is a Sefer Torah. So just like at Ma'amad Har Sinai there was 600,000, at a funeral there needs to be 600,000, because a Jewish person is like a Sefer Torah. Very good. But now we're going to get to what's going to be the biggest question you guys will deal with your entire lives. So far simple, yes? Everyone's happy? תיזהר עכשיו, אנחנו צריכים להתקדם. עוד שנייה, מעלה אדומים, עוד שנייה. חכם מאוד, בסדר? מה נשמע? אפשר להיכנס, זה לא צריך... יש פה על הרצפה, הכל בסדר. עוד שנייה נגיע, רק נעשה את השאלה ואז נשאל עוד שאלות. יש מקום, תן להם. מה זה, ישיבת הראל מודמים? אני גם רוצה. בסדר. But comes the halacha and says, we just saw that a person is like a Sefer Torah. The amount of people that come to a funeral is identical to Ma'amad Har Sinai because a Jewish person is a Sefer Torah. Says the halacha, when a Sefer Torah burns, how many kriot do we tear? 2. And if a Jewish person passes away, how many kriot do we tear? 1. So this is called the biggest question you've ever seen in your life. I don't mean. They say the reason you tear kriya is because a Jewish person is a Sefer Torah. A Sefer Torah burns, you tear 2. And if a Jewish person passes away, you tear 1. So the big question, it's called the big Q. How does the idea of met the Sefer Torah work with halacha that says that a Sefer Torah you tear 2 and a neshama you tear 1? היו פה כמה שאלות. היה לך שאלה. שאלות? בסדר. We'll continue. מה?
Not understanding why the 600,000 by the Matan Torah is when they were given the Torah, but by the funeral it's when the neshama.
Do we have a marker here, Ma? What do you go by? Tani. Everyone should be zocha bezrat Hashem to cancel this shir. Come listen to Tani, the first learner ever in the Jewish people. Says, I don't mean the Taz, I don't understand. When the Torah was given, there was 600,000. Now when the Torah is being taken, ma kesher. Zeh Tani is you're going to give your own shir. Best question I've ever heard, I don't want to ruin it. Seder, we're going to continue. Which yeshiva?
Southern.
You're going to have an answer for sure. Rav Yammer, you're going to find an answer. Kol b'seder. Okay. So how are we going to answer this? We're going to go to 4 more sources. Masha? Source 4 is Masachet Makot Daf Kav Bet Amud Bet. מה כתוב? הני בבלאי טיפשי. מה זה בבלאי? אמריקאנס. לא צריך להגיד בקול. איפה לוקאס, בוא תעשה לנו ריקוד? תעשה ריקוד לפני עם ישראל.
איזה ריקוד אתה רוצה?
של עם ריקה.
טוב? ריקה.
תשב. יפה. בסדר? זה עם ריקה, מי שמכיר, מי שלא מכיר, אמרנו בעברית, זה לא היה חלק מהשיעור, לא מכירים. בסדר? עם ריקה. הני בבלאי טיפשי. The Babylonians are mamash stupid. So says the Gemara, why are they stupid? Why are the Babylonians so stupid? And we all know Masachet Makot Daf Kav Bet Amud Bet, because they stand up for what? For a Sefer Torah. But they do not lokame mekame gavra rabba. They don't stand up for people. And the Gemara there brings a very, very interesting question. Who here ever did a lav? Rabbi Eliezer is the only one. Megia lo lefia Torah. According to the Torah, according to Hashem, 40 makot. 40. Everyone knows how to count to 40? We're all good? Yafeh. Come Chazal and say, but it says, Achiv. It has to be your brother. So, we're going to make it a little bit less. 39. So now we have a competition. Person versus Torah. Adam versus God. Who wins the debate? Baba Metziad Nuntet. You guys want to talk about that also? Or lo tzarich? Lamshich. Lo b'shamaymi. Who wins? Okay, you want to say it or you don't want to say it out loud? Yehuda. Yeah. So they say, how stupid can you be? There was a debate if a person should get 40 or 39. And a person said 39. What an idiot. The Torah said 40. How dare you? What are you unaware? But they're so stupid they don't understand that the goal was not the da'at of the Torah, it was the chaim of the Torah. And if you hit a person 40, what are the chances that's going to happen? A lot of da'at and no life. A lot of da'at, but the person's going to die. And the goal is b'chai b'hem. Learn Masachet Yoma, learn Masachet Shabbat, b'chai. So if the essence of Torah is life, then man wins. Because he said 40 equals death. Da'at. I know what the Torah says. But I know that the essence of the why of the Torah is b'chai. And life will always beat death. Meaning, writing notes will always beat a phone. This phone is death. Everyone knows how to spell cell phone, yeah? You could write it down in English. SELF-OWN. I made it up myself. Now it's all over Instagram or whatever. Seder, it owns you. And you're not alive anymore. Imagine going on a date with a girl with a cell phone, then you propose to her. She doesn't run, she's not a real girl. You understood? Yafeh. So that's Masachet Makot Daf Kav Bet saying Adam is bigger than a book because a book is a means. It is not the goal. The goal is life. The goal is dishes. The goal is laundry. The goal is to brush your teeth in the army for 3 hours and 14 minutes. This is how I stayed awake in Shmirah. מי שרוצה עצות לצבא. הייתי נרדם בשמירה, I would fall asleep, so I brushed my teeth for 3 hours and 14 minutes, לא הייתי יכול להירדם. הבנת את הבדיחה או לא הבנת? לא הבנת. אמיתי. בסדר? So we're going to go to source number 5, Sanhedrin Samechet Amud Aleph. We all know Rabbi Elazar. What do we know about Rabbi Elazar from Baba Metziad Nuntet? He was put in solitary confinement. He lived by himself for 20 years. Like Rabbi Menachem Eder Kotzk. If you don't know, you don't know, but halavai that you will know. And Rabbi Elazar for 20 years is by himself. And what happens when he's on his deathbed? No one knows the Gemara. Sanhedrin Samechet. All the Chavre, Rabbi Akiva, all the Gdolim, they come into Kennes Asufot. They mitasef biyachad. They come over to Rabbi Elazar. What does Rabbi Elazar say to them?
He's asking, why are you coming?
Lama batim. Lama batim. Chavre, do you know lama? Simple question, yeah? Why do you guys come? So they say very simple. Lilmod Torah banu. We came to learn. We came for Eitz Hadat. Sanhedrin Samechet, this is mamish black on yellow. Mofia, you could open it up later. What does he say to them? What does he say back to them? Why did you not come till now? So they answer back, Loyal and Pnai. We didn't have enough time. We were in Adhat. We were learning all day. We weren't bad kids. We were at night seder till 2 a.m. We were good. He says, Lo tamutu mitat atzmechem. Everyone knows Asara Rugei Malchut that we say on Yom Kippur. You ask yourself why? Says Rashi right over there. Rabbi Akiva gets his death penalty because he was learning Torah. Ribono shel olam. He's doing such good things. Says Rabbi Elazar to Rabbi Akiva, his greatest student. Shnei yadai ki shnei sifrei Torah. Can anyone translate that sentence? My 2 arms are like 2 sifrei Torah. Did anyone ever do glila before? Anyone do glila? How many arms does the Torah have? Jack? Has 2. So shnei yadai ki sefer Torah. Maza shnei yadai ki shnei sifrei Torah. He says in Rabbi Akiva, you don't understand anymore. The whole idea that I was teaching you is that I am 2 times greater than a book. Shnei yadai ki shnei sifrei Torah. I'm 2 times bigger. I'm Masechet Makot. I'm alive. And you're coming here to learn? You've lost it all. Sama Mavet. If you are speaking the language of Etz Hadat, it is the tree that can also bring the drug of death. This is Rabbi Elazar's sentence. So this is Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Samechet, that he says to him, Shnei yadai ki shnei sifrei Torah. I'm greater than all those books you're learning. And you let me sit for 20 years all alone when I was alive. You forgot life. You forgot relationships. You were really successful. And what do all yeshiva people love doing? Making fun of businessmen. איזה גרועים אלה. חיי עולם הזה. חתיכות זבל. בסדר? בלשון אחרת. אבל אתם מבינים, כן? לא מבינים. סבא דוד מבין. Said that we walk around businessmen, they're dealing with this world, they're not involved, they're not connected, they don't know Ritva, they don't know Rashba. And comes Masechet Shabbat Avlam Megibalam with bed and says, but if you don't understand why you're learning, then do me a favor and stop. Just do me a favor. Don't mitameh the Torah. Don't ruin the essence of what it's all about. Don't you dare eat lunch and wait for someone else to clean it. How dare you walk around Eretz Yisrael and think that picking up garbage is a bitul Torah? That we have cleaners that walk around Morid Rabbi Ravrehem. Shall be Zocha at 2:15 to listen to him. What does he do every day at 2 o'clock? He goes over to the cleaner. He says to him, go into the Beit Midrash. Sit and learn. I'm taking out the garbage. Lo bishvil tmunot, lo bishvil amirot. Ravrehem says, Im ani lo chelek ma'achayim, az ani chelek ma'metim. I don't want to quote it from Chomot shel Tikva, mi shemekir, mi shelo mekir. You get busy or get busy. Nigmar. You either get busy reading the past, the books of the past, or you get busy in realizing that the past is waiting for the future. That Hashem didn't give Da'at as a goal, He gave it as a magnifying glass to fall in love with the Jewish people. Not to fall in love with yourself. אפשר להגיד או אי אפשר להגיד? מעלה אדומים מתעצבנים. יש אישור. מעלה אדומים אישרו, הכל בסדר. מה אפשר לעשות? Yeah.
Why do we say תלמוד תורה כנגד כולם?
You tell me. Give me a name. Joe says יאיר שלה. אתה עומד פה, צועק צעקות, אומר אמירות. תלמוד תורה כנגד כולם. הבעיה שאתה לא יודע מה זה תורה. Does anyone know why Torah is called Torah? Because it's a simple word. Hora'ah. You really know what Torah is. It's Hora'ah. It's an educational system. You know the PSS, the Rebbe? You know him or no? I'll daven for you. I'll levive it this kid. The PSS Rebbe says if you're not an educator, you're not Jewish. Mamlechet Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh. You have to educate. Why? Because Torah is to teach. If you're not teaching, you're not alive. You're not understanding Torah. If you're not sharing, it's not that you're not caring, you're not alive. You're dead. The learning of Torah, the learning of Lehorot, the learning of being an extension cord, 100%. But if you don't live B'Torah Tchila, Daf Peichet, Baba Metzia, what do we know? If you don't make a bracha before you learn, Churban Habayit. What's the bracha saying? Remember why. I'm learning so that I can transmit. What does that word mean? Transmit. You're following or you? Call the Sarah. Joe. Oh, Rabbeinu Yehuda.
What I was saying is the whole, I'm continuing what you're trying to say. The whole reason the Israeli yeshivas are not in Jerusalem, because they are spreading across Israel. They want to be a pillar of life.
מסכים איתך 100%. אתה נהפכת לראש ישיבה של כל ישיבות האמריקאיות, לך תשכנע אותם. מצוין. חבר'ה, נלך מהר. We don't have that much time. We want to get to practical also. The sources over here if you want to see them later. So is the Eretz an addition or a definition? Then we want to guess. We're going to say that the idea of the Eretz is that it redefines Ami, why you're learning. You didn't come here as an addition. You didn't go to Karen Biybna as an addition. It defines all of why you're here. It defines that the goal of learning is not vertical. Mishu Adam is a vertical? Upwards. The goal is horizontal. How do I use this? How do I infuse it? How do I relate it? So Eretz Yisrael is not another mitzvah. It's the Kool-Aid of all of Torah. And where do we see this? We're not going to go so long. We'll go straight to Moren Rabbeinu, ראש ישיבות, שכל ישיבות ההסדר, הרב קוק. חייבים להגיד, כן? אין מה לעשות. הוא אומר, ארץ ישראל איננה קניין חיצוני לאומה או אמצעי. The land is not a means, it's a goal. Why? Because the Eretz is Eretz HaChaim. We're mamish 20 minutes here from Beit HaKvarot in Beit Shemesh. It's called Eretz HaChaim. Because if you're connected to the Eretz, you're always Chai. You're always excited. Not only to lock in, but to affect out. בסדר? אפשר להגיד? אפשר להגיד? יפה. מה השעה? נסיים עם conclusion for practical, and anyone who wants can look after. Conclusion, the Eretz changes the Torah from vertical to horizontal. If we go all the way back, why did we tear 2 kriyas for a Sefer Torah? Anyone want to guess? Okay, so the Taz will answer you. When a Sefer Torah burns, there's 2 things. I'm a sofer, want to be a sofer, try to be a sofer, I never write Shem Hashem, lo lidog. There's something called Gvil. Does anyone know what Gvil is? It's the body of the Torah. You're getting all excited because you're a sofer. Seder, Gvil. Then there's something called Otiot. What are the Otiot and Neshama? You have a Guf and a Neshama. The Guf and the Neshama. You burn a Sefer Torah, what burns? Both. So you tear 2. But when you burn a person, there is something called the Guf. And the Guf is like the Gvil. But in Masechet Avodah Zarah Daf Yulchet, when they take out Hananiah ben Tradion to get burned, he surrounds himself with the Sefer Torah. And when he surrounds himself with the Sefer Torah, they say to him, hey Hananiah, you're burning? What do you see? לא יודע מה זה השאלה הזאת מוזר. מה אתה רואה? says, אני רואה גבילים נשרפים באותיות פורחות באוויר. What is he really saying? I see myself. I see that there's something better than me than the book. And I just want to finish with this. Mori v'Rabbi Reb Zerach. Mori v'Rabbi Reb Zerach had 7 siblings, went to Majdanek. I was there 2 days ago. He came into Majdanek with 7 siblings. The commandant, the main guy, took a Sefer Torah. And he said to Zerach, do me a favor, wrap up your family with a Sefer Torah. And he took out what's called a little match, some gasoline. And he said, you'll never forget this scene in your life. And he lights his family on fire in front of his eyes. And Zerach pulls out of his bag. I was there when I was 17. I was 20. Very old here. 25 years ago, yeah. 25 years ago, I was there with 53 Neve Shmuel kids. Israeli, Akol Beseder. He pulls out 53 Israeli flags. He tells all of us, I can never ever bring back my family, but I could ask for one thing. I want to ask all of you to wrap yourself in these flags. We did. Out of 53, 49 went into Sayarot. Because Zerach added one question. He said, can any of you differentiate between the Eretz of this flag and the Torah that was burnt on my family. The Torah is to enable, not to disable. It's to create conversation between us and the Chevra in Tel Aviv. And so he said to all of us, if you wrap yourself in the degel, that's something that no one will ever be able to burn. Because that's alive. And what he was really saying is that we all are zoche to learn with windows. I learned in Yeshivat Otniel, I've said it already 16 times. 17. Everyone had been in Otniel, no one's ever been. Yeshivat Otniel, Kol HaYeshiva is windows. I said to our friend, why is it windows? Because we're learning in order to see the world, not to look out away from the world. My bracha to all of us practically is to realize this is the idea of a minyan. Anyone know what a minyan is? It's a line and a circle. A line is me. I'm learning for myself. Yes, I'm growing to become part of the circle, to become part of the chevra, to become part of the land. So we should be zocher to daven in minyan and zman olam. Nathan, you wrote it down? That's part of Eretz Yisrael, minyan. How we learn, just dedicate it. Write articles. Write to your family, thank you. Once a week, once a month, but make sure that there's something within your learning, how you're doing it, that's reminding you how. The when you learn, it has to be at 5:30 a.m. Why? Because of Chachmei Lublin. Chachmei Lublin, they began their day at 5:30 a.m. Why? Because my idea of learning is that I don't wait for reality, I control reality. I am stronger than reality. I am stronger than Hamas. I'm stronger than their tunnels. I'm stronger because I have something called life. They celebrate death. We don't. We celebrate life. We celebrate weddings. That's what we celebrate. So when we learn, it has to be at 5:30 a.m. You can take it or leave it, whatever you guys want. You have to find the chavruta. A chavruta means that I'm not learning more, I'm learning in. Sometimes learning with a chavruta is less learning, but more long-term. Have a journal. Morning of Rabbeinu, the PSS and the Rabbi, you should be Zocher Reb Joe, Salva Zerus. If you don't have a journal, you're not in yeshiva. You're learning your story. You're learning how to become more, not bavlai tipshai. Now I would say just when you walk into Beit Midrash, give tzedakah. Give. Realize that giving is not a gift, it's a lifestyle. It's the right thing. It's tzedek. When you walk into Beit Midrash, give tzedakah. Not talking about 100 shekel, ken? Lo kulano Amerikai, ken? חכמי אומות העולם. 10 אגורות, לא משנה, but just give. Walk in as someone that's sharing and not someone that's taking. מה אומר רבנו? מאיזה ישיבה?
ליאור תפחות.
ישיבת תפחות חזק מאוד, אני בא לשם.
לפי מה שהרב אומר, זה לא המסע מחיים לדעת, אלא מסע לחיים לדעת, חיי תורה. לגמרי. I'm not saying chas v'shalom just to finish, that the da'at is not essential, it's part of Gan Eden. We're zoche if we know that there's etz achayim.